Hallo, welkom bij de On The Range podcast. Met War, Hogg, Tactical en Kelley Defense. Hier zijn je gastheren, Rick Hogg en Mark Kelley.
On The Range podcast. On The Range.
Hello, everyone. Mark Kelley here from Kelley Defense. Wherever you are, thank you for making us part of your day. First and foremost, right out of the chute, thank you, crew members. Thank you for all your support. If you want to become a OTR crew member, go to warhog.com or kelleydefense.com. Hit the join button. You can get a 2-week free all-access membership. Rick and I have all of our videos there. All the training videos are exclusive now to the crew members. While you're there on the websites, make sure you check out our industry partners. A lot of great companies out there supporting what we do, all the outreach with Project Officer Survival. So go check them out. What we're going to talk about today is we are going to talk about Tucker Carlson and the ratings that's happening to Fox News and some of the things that I've thought about this topic and where it's coming from and where it's going to go. And you might be surprised at what I say. However, there's some big indicators that it's going to take a lot for Fox News to crawl out of this. It really is. It's going to take a ton of work by them. I don't know how they're going to do it. So let's dive into that real quick. Tucker Carlson, as everybody knows, during last weekend, it was announced, Fox News said that they are parting ways, a mutual agreed parting ways. It looks more like Tucker was let go. He was fired. And the ratings has tanked. Tucker Carlson is a powerhouse, superstar, amazing talent. And they just let him go without really any reason. I think that's one of the big pieces that the ratings are dropping the way they are. There's no explanation why. A lot of smear going on there. A lot of smear. Trying to ruin my man. You know why that is. Everybody knows why that is. It's got almost nothing to do with any kind of personal beef. It's got everything to do with him not stealing their ratings. Well, too late. Those who are watching on the video, you can see what I have up here, courtesy of the On The Range podcast Twitter page. Go check it out. Search On The Range podcast. So Tucker finally responded. In the main ratings demographic time of 8 p.m. on Tuesday, 78 million hits to this point. 78 million views. Totally wiping the floor with everything that Fox has. See, that's what they're terrified of, friends. They know that Tucker has a huge following. He's a huge talent. He's very good. And they're afraid of where he's going to go, what he's going to take. I can tell you right now, his time slot is going to be prime time where he was, no matter where he ends up. I think he's perfect for the internet. And we're going to talk about that piece a little bit too. I'm going to have a little bit of a call to action. But Tucker Carlson is wiping the floor already. He doesn't even have a show yet. So he releases this video, 2 minutes and 16 seconds. I'm not going to play anything from it. You can go on our Twitter page. You can go on his. Check it out. Also, if you are a Twitter user and you have a feed, do a search for On The Range Podcast. The handle is On The Range Cast, C-A-S-T, one word. Go give us a follow. Comment on some of the stuff we're putting on there. Brand new to the OTR universe. Super happy about it. So whoever they have in the time slot up there, is probably a great guy, great gal, whoever on Fox. But they're getting the butts handed to them. Megyn Kelley on Sirius FM or Sirius Radio talked about this a little bit. So we don't really know why Tucker was let go. We've heard some stuff. We don't know. There was some scuttlebutt about some inappropriate things that he said, and they just came off the big lawsuit settlement. Maybe they weren't ready to do another one. There's also some scuttlebutt of the top execs at Fox were tired of him, didn't want to go through another lawsuit, whatever. There's also some mention of the Heritage Foundation speech that he made later that night on the 21st. Whatever it is, the Fox viewers are not happy. I don't know how they're going to do it. Honestly, they're crushed. They're crushed. And here's another thing, too. Where are people going to go? Where are people going to go to get that type of entertainment that Tucker brought? He was completely unique, attacking all those issues and those questions that most people are afraid to ask. And he's doing it. And he's doing it in a very entertaining and informative way. Where are you going to go to get that? I tell you, we're going to go wherever Tucker lands. And I think the other piece of the ratings drop is probably because the viewers feel hurt. A lot of people would tune in to hear Tucker's monologue. Now they're not doing that. Whether they stay for the whole show or not, because sometimes he did some other specials on Fox Nation, some long form stuff, really good. That's going to take a hit too, but that monologue was big. This past week, MSNBC and CNN beat Fox News in that time slot, prime time slot. That's where you make your bread and butter. That prime time ad dollars gone. And now the former Fox viewers, or whoever used to watch Tucker, and a big majority of them was his primetime viewers, it's a big slap in the face. A big slap in the face to Fox. And I don't know I honestly believe they got to bring him back. They got to find a way to bring him back and make that work. Now, whether or not Tucker's down with that, I don't know. I wouldn't be. Because he's going to go somewhere. He's going to end up on the internet. He's going to do some free stuff. He's going to do some stuff behind a paywall, and he is going to make a boatload of money. And he's going to be good. He's going to be just as good. And that's the one thing I want to talk about before we change subjects. I got another good topic that I think is very interesting.
On the range.
This also, with what I believe is the end of big media. Tucker was the last TV cable network big draw. It's the end of it. It just reinforces the importance of alternative news sources from cable. Because there's always a possibility that Fox News is now compromised. Some people probably feel that way. If Tucker's not asking these questions, they feel nobody is. Yes, they are. There are people that are doing it. It shows like this. It shows like Steven Crowder's. It shows like Outkick. Some of those are behind paywalls as well, like Daily Wire. Shows like that. Those are where you got to go. That's why you have to support these shows. You have to follow. You have to like. You have to hit those notification bells. You got to subscribe. You got to play by the game. We all do. Go to Twitter. Follow our stuff. We're going to pass along other stuff. You have to do that. That network of internet news sources, information. You know, Mike Glover Actual, he's got some stuff where he talks about preparedness. On the Range podcast, where we talk about training, implementing training, mindset, just being 1% better every day as a person. That's where you need to go. Pass this stuff along. We need to keep these media companies, for lack of better terms, moving forward and find out wherever Tucker is, and you have to keep consuming that stuff. Because there is a chance that Fox News is now compromised.
On the range.
Had some very interesting subcommittee activity. Very interesting. I'm not going to put this up, but I'll just have to give you my version of it. Now, the main point isn't necessarily the stories that are sparking this curiosity from me and this point I'm trying to make. But it's great examples of how this big bureaucracy and these folks that are telling you what to do, how they do it. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you how. Because not everybody can show you, but I'm going to show you.
On the range.
So, you guys may or may not remember Randi Weingartner. She's one of the big teachers unions. There's a couple of big monster teachers unions. And I'm not going to bash on teachers because I think teachers have a very difficult job and most of them are doing great. This kind of sparks and piggybacks off the story we did not too long ago in the OTR universe concerning the 30 Illinois schools that were around the Chicago area that had zero students that were proficient in math or reading. 30 of them, 30 schools. And the point we're making is maybe they're concentrating not on the correct stuff. And then maybe these lockdowns were a heck of a lot more damaging than what people are led to believe. Oh, Randi Weingartner at one point said in a TV interview, oh, they're very resistant. Kids are very resistant. Well, maybe, or resilient, I'm sorry, very resilient. And they're going to bounce back from this. Well, if your curriculum sucks, not necessarily teachers, but if your curriculum sucks because you have these whack job administrators pushing this woke stuff down their throat instead of concentrating on math and reading, then maybe you're right. But that's not what they're doing. The Chicago area schools, failure. Now, the subcommittee, back on Wednesday, Randi Weingartner was talking. Now, there was a representative that made a comment about her being a parent. I didn't agree with that. All you parents out there who have extended families, taking care of youngsters, doing great stuff, maybe married into a situation where now you have the opportunity to raise another kid, be a positive influence, enjoy being a parent, being a step parent. Good for you. Good for you. I didn't like that comment. But one of the things that Randi Weingartner was saying in between some of that bantering back and forth, where they were mentioning, we were trying to get the kids back in the schools. I said over and over and over, we need to get the kids back in the schools. Nobody's going to believe that. Now, there are teachers that did. There was teachers, I saw several interviews where these teachers were reaching out to kids during the pandemic when they were home and helping them and helping their parents keep moving things forward. Good for those teachers. But the problem I have with this, first of all, I don't believe that. And the reason why I don't believe that is because if you remember, the United Teachers of Los Angeles threatened to go on strike if they went back. Remember that? Some schools were opening up. They were going to strike. And some of the demands had nothing to do with education or safety from the pandemic. That's the problem I have. That's the problem I have. She was a big piece of that. She never came out and spoke against that. So see what they're doing? And I'll bring in our good friend, Dr. Fauci, here in a second. You see what they're doing? Let me go further so I can further explain before I let the cat out of the bag, as they say.
On the Range podcast.
He's making the rounds. He's going from interview to interview. One of the big points that came out, and it was a big story, is the efficacy of masks. Whatever, right? They were shoving it down your throat. They were shoving it down your throat. And Miss Weingartner was not letting anybody go back to school. Let's not kid anybody. But she's saying she's listening to the CDC recommendation. She says that in her subcommittee testimony. Fauci, making his rounds, he ends up saying, I don't have the power to lock down anybody. How many of you can remember the number of times you heard him say what you could and couldn't do, mostly what you couldn't do during that horrible time? Now, during the beginning, was it tough? People didn't know things? Yes. But as it went on, 2 years almost, Now they're saying those things don't even work. They're even pulling those 3 initial treatments off the table. If they're so effective, why aren't they still using them? Oh, well, these are science and they're okay, whatever, bro. Whatever, man. But now he's saying, I never had, I'm just a doctor. I'm just a scientist. I can't lock down anything. Then you throw it up to the president. He says, hey, I'm listening to the science. I did what the scientists were saying. See how that happens, friends? They want to tell you and make you do what they want, influence you to do things that you wouldn't normally do, not reason with things that you wouldn't normally ignore. And then no one's to blame. No one accepts any blame. It's a great example. It's a great example of how we should really be critical if you weren't before. Some of us were. If you weren't super, super critical, you should be now. And that's just one of the reasons. One of the reasons why you have to let some of these mainstream media go. Let them go. Come over to On the Range Podcast, Daily Wire, Outkick, Megyn Kelley Show, whoever else that you trust in the alternate news media and information realms, and start seeking it out, following, and passing it along. So if you like what you're seeing, if you like what you're hearing, and all the consumption that's going on with this type of media, you need to keep doing it. You need to keep doing it. Make sure you go to the websites, warhog.com, kelleydefense.com. Make sure that you continue to like, subscribe, share these audio and video shows. Make sure you keep doing it. It's important. So if you're not already a crew member, you need to go to the websites, click the crew member join button. 2 free weeks. 2 free weeks. Try it. All access membership. So crew members, stand by. The show continues on the OTR Crew Patreon page. Be safe and have a great day, guys.